we've had Deflategate, we've had Spygate, we've had Bountygate, Paige Dimakos. We have Spitgate on our hands. Jalen Carter was ejected from the game for spitting on Dak Prescott. But guess what? Upon further review, Dak Prescott spit first. Yes. I want to simply ask, Jalen Carter versus Dak Prescott, who was wrong?
They both wrong. They're both wrong, but since you put me on the spot,
I put you on the spot.
Dak started it.
Okay, you think he started it?
He started it, and I'll tell you why. Upon further review, when we gathered all the evidence, we are the league commissioners, okay, together. We gathered
we playing commission. We handing out fines.
We're handing out fines. We're telling people who's wrong. We're doing it all, right? And what happened was we've looked at all the camera angles. Probably the most diabolical part of this is not even the part where Dak spits. It's the part where he up-downs Jalen Carter and kind of smirks at him like, do something. And, like, here's the thing. When you're a quarterback, you don't spit on the bear, okay? The grizzly bear. Like, when you see the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Carter is the grizzly bear. He's the one person you don't mess with. And he messed with him, and the part that I have a problem with is that it impacted us watching the game because the Eagles missed Jalen Carter greatly throughout that game. And upon further review, they both should have been tossed. They both were disrespectful.
Okay, I'm going to say this.
And I get it. You are the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. You are a $90 million man. You can't be doing shit like that, Dak.
Well, at the end of the day,
afterwards, you lied about it.
Okay,
you pretended like you didn't do shit.
I feel both ways about this because at the end of the day, he didn't spit on Jalen Carter.
No,
right?
but he spit
towards
him.
He walked a very fine line, which I view as disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of
you and I talked about it right away.
Yeah,
I was like, Keith, is it? And you were like, disrespectful.
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
Like,
like if somebody spit at you, it's disrespectful.
And then the chronological order of he spits in his direction, and then he says to him, did you just spit on us? And then he said, why the fuck would I spit on you?
Yeah.
Okay? And then he goes and laughs. Oh, guess it's up. He lucky he didn't get punched in the face.
You want to know what my problem is?
What?
First of all, we two grown-ass men, both over 240 pounds, spitting on each other. If somebody spit at me, you know what I'm doing? It's whip-ass time. It is whip-ass time. I'm not worrying about spitting back at you. I'm grabbing your helmet, and we're throwing bolos, right? I promise
lucky
you,
that
I'm
didn't
getting
happen,
suspended,
though.
and a couple of my teammates going down with me, too. And you know who else we need to call out? The Cowboys offensive line.
Yeah.
How you let your quarterback get spit on and nobody runs to his defense?
Yeah.
Even after you found out what happened, you know what you go do? You go chase Jalen Carter on the way out of the stadium.
It's probably the worst part.
Yeah, that was the worst part.
My dad, we were texting during this game, right? And you were upset about that. And my dad, Coach P, Coach Plato, was also pissed.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't believe, like, there is an unwritten rule. Baseball has a lot of unwritten rules. Football doesn't have many. But probably, if not the top one, it's in the top 3. If you got yourself a franchise quarterback, it don't matter what happens if he's wrong or not. You better go run your ass to defend him.
Yep.
That's how it doesn't matter if he's wrong. He could have spit 3 times on Jalen Carter, and you're just supposed to defend his ass no matter what. And that's not what happened. So I'm with you. Like, that was probably of the whole, upon further review, the worst part was that his teammates didn't have his back. Yeah. Is that a bigger problem, though?
So, is it a bigger problem?
Is that a question? Because we got a lot of young guys who haven't been around for the time frame where they were good.
Four of their 5 offensive linemen were young, right?
But does that tell us something about Dak's respect in the locker room?
No, you know what I think it is? It tells us about culture. Yeah. The Cowboys are soft. They never check in the whip-ass mode. And that's been their problem for the past 15 years.
They don't.
When we watched the Dallas Cowboys documentary, you know what they did? They whipped ass, took people names, whipped ass again, and then they went partied hard. Yeah. This version of the Dallas Cowboys wants to party hard, and they forget to whip people ass.
I don't even know if they're partying anymore.
Yeah, I don't think
they're fun either. Like, I don't even think they're fun anymore. I just think they're lame.
Yeah, when we seen that documentary, right, we was like, damn, this is kind of fun. It felt like...
I kind of wanted to be a Cowboys fan. That's how good that documentary was.
You know what it felt like?
And I hate them.
Jimmy Johnson took the U and brought it to Dallas. And he said, you know what? We just need to win games, baby.
Damn straight.
He had the L. Davis thing. Just win.
Oh, yeah.
That's all he wanted. Just
Absolutely.
win, baby.
And you had the right players, right? You had, I think Dak and Troy Aikman have a lot more in common than I realized. Like, in their demeanor and how they handle themselves and how there's a lot of chaos going on around them.
And they have to stay focused.
And they just kind of are like, I'm good.
Yeah,
and I'm good on all that.
Yeah, we'll get into that because I have some stuff towards the end of it. But listen, we talked about Spitgate, but at the end of the day,
please refer to this as Spitgate from here on forward. Okay, this is credit at Coach Keith Sanchez on Twitter and Instagram, please and thank you, and hashtag Spitgate. That's what we will not refer to it as anything else moving forward.
There we go. Listen, after the Cowboys and Eagles games, you know what people said? the Cowboys didn't look as bad as we thought they
Yeah,
were. But
they
they
didn't.
still lost, right?
They did.
And
They
before
did.
that weather delay, the Philadelphia Eagles were rolling up and down the field.
They were.
And we have the Green Bay Packers. They're sitting on the other side with Michael Parsons, right?
Yes.
This trade went down. After 1 week, I want to ask, who won this trade thus far?
Who won the trade so far has got to be Green Bay, just because we saw what Michael Parsons did with no practice, and we know the kind of game record that he is. That being said, this is going to be a trade that we're not going to know for quite a while because of the picks. What do they do with these picks?
I'm not
What do
sold
they
in
do?
Jerry Jones
I'm
picking.
not sold on them either, but we have to be fair to the assessment
And
of what and we have to allow time because Micah is going to be instant impact. The draft picks are not, right? And the thing we did see is, and I talked to you about this because I watched this in Chicago. I know Eberflus's system and how he runs his system and what he needs, and they played much better, and I wasn't surprised because I know what to expect from a well-coached Matt Eberflus defense. And that's what happened. They played their asses off.
Yeah.
They were a double-digit underdog. Everybody was talking about how this was going to be a 48-10 blowout. It wasn't. And Dak looked good. Let's start there. Dak looked really good. The offense looked really good. And CeeDee Lamb, can you catch a damn pass, bro? He ain't a one.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
He ain't a one.
He ain't a one.
This is my hot take from it. With the Dallas Cowboys, they are this year's version of the Cincinnati Bengals, where the offense will be good, but the defense will always just come just a bit short. They're going to finish this season 8-9, and they're going to wish that they had Michael Parsons. I'm going to go ahead and push all my chips on the table. The Green Bay Packers won that trade going away. And
So
just
hang
the
on,
very first game.
before you go past that, because I like your take, and I want to make sure we index this,
Yeah,
bookmark this.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Bookmark this moment. Because you know how much Joe Burrow got credit last year?
Yeah.
Remember, MVP conversation for a losing team, a team that did not make the playoffs.
Yep.
I better hear that same shit for Dak then. If Dak plays like Joe did,
this is my point.
then we have to hope, we as a show will have to give Dak his flowers, and we will.
I try to.
I know. I gave. Who did it this time? I
Right,
gave
you
him his
did, you
flowers.
did, yep,
I gave him his
100%.
flowers. He played his ass off. I was more pissed off at CeeDee Lamb, and I was like, "Yo, what are we doing? Involve George Pickens more."
Yep.
Like, I think you've got yourself two of the same receivers.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yep. 100%.
You don't have a one, you're screwed. And Dak Prescott, God bless you, buddy. I hope your offensive linemen get it together because that was some bullshit. Bullshit.
Let me finish explaining with the Michael Parsons thing and why I think that he won. First game, he didn't even play the full game. He was basically on a pitch count, right? They literally, I think they only brought him in.
It was crazy that he
on
played at
third
all.
downs when it was obvious pass downs. You seen him on one play. He had to turn to his teammate and ask him what to do. He don't even know the defense
No.
yet. And
It's impossible.
He was able
Which,
to
by the way,
apply-
that's not on Micah. It's impossible
to know the
defense
that
this
fast.
quickly.
Yeah. So he had 1 sack and 3 pressures.
Yeah.
This is what Jerry Jones thought he did. Jerry Jones thought that he had the Herschel Walker trade. You know what Michael Parsons was actually? He was Charles Haley. That was the problem. He traded away a Super Bowl piece to his defense. He thought that he was going to get credit for the Herschel Walker thing. This is going to backfire, and he actually traded away Charles Haley, who was the key piece when you go back and watch the documentary to the Dallas Cowboys winning the Super Bowl.
I got questions,
That's what
Jerry.
it was.
I got questions, Jerry. You don't sign big dog free agents anymore. You signed Deion Sanders. He was the biggest free agent of all time.
Yep.
You literally paraded his ass around in front of your team. I'm just fundamentally confused with Jerry because I watched that documentary and I say, I like this Jerry. I don't know what version of Jerry this is now. It's like he forgot. And I think he tried to make that magic sauce happen again, like you're talking about. Like he went back and as he was revisiting this over the last 18 months, he thought he could really do the Herschel Walker thing again.
Yeah.
Like he was like, oh yeah, send it. Like, bro, no.
I'm going to finally get credit. When you watch the documentary, he's like, I'm going to finally get credit
for the Herschel Walker
trade.
Herschel
Walker trade.
Get over it,
Thank
bro.
you and Jimmy Johnson.
You guys got 3 Super Bowls. Let it go, man. Oh, my God. It's not worth just literally not ever having a Super Bowl again because you're trying. Like, it's not like he wants to win.
Yeah.
It's that he gets clouded along the path.
By the bullshit.
And
you know what the bullshit is? The fill in the stands. Like, Jerry is a great marketer. But I have to be honest with you. I'm out on him being a football guy.
I agree.
He is not a football guy.
No, he's
you
not.
have to let the football people do football things. Let the owners do owners. Let the cheerleaders cheer. Let the players play and coaches coach, right? That's how it's supposed to be
it's just,
at the end of the day.
It's not how the Cowboys are run, right? Like, they walk people around at practice. I heard BA, okay? Pops. Bruce Arians on McAfee. He's now got a recurring, he's going to be on every Tuesday with Pat McAfee. And he was talking about, and I've been around Jerry with Bruce, so I know they know each other, right? And that part of Jerry, I'm always like, he's a very loyal guy. There's a lot of endearing qualities about Jerry.
Yep.
But BA said on national TV, and I stand by this, every head coach in America hates that shit. I'm going to parade people around. I'm going to act. It's like a circus. Yep. You're trying to, Bill Belichick have literally spies to make sure that other people are not spying. That's how crazy Belichick is. Okay? And instead, Jerry goes, oh, no. Practices aren't.
Bring them all in.
Bring everybody in. Who cares? Everybody tape our practice and everybody can know our plays. Like, that shit makes no sense from a football standpoint. And that's why, to your point, he's not a football guy.
Yeah.
Give it up, Jer. Listen, I'm going to give you your flowers right here and right now. You won a natty at Arkansas. I didn't know. God bless you. You and Jimmy were teammates. You guys were best friends. Jimmy's retired and on TV every day. Maybe it's time for you to have a television show. Just saying.
The end. Just imagine if Bill Belichick tried to run marketing plans.
Oh,
right?
my God.
It doesn't work. Coaches got to coach.
We're watching
owners.
that actually out loud.
Well, let's do this. We talked Thursday night, but the NFL blessed us with a Friday night
very
game,
good
right?
Friday
We were
night game.
They were in Brazil.
They were in Sao Paulo.
Brazil. And we had the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers came out on top. I want to ask this question. Was that great Chargers or is Chiefs Kingdom in trouble?
It's a little of both, but I'm gonna give the flowers where they are deserved. My boy Justin Herbert, baby.
Okay.
And here's the other thing about Justin Herbert you gotta know. Jimmy Harbaugh, baby. All he does is win. He's 6-0 to begin the season in the NFL now. He does not mess around. Jim Harbaugh is they lost Rashawn Slater. A week before this shit happened, he flips Joe Alt to his true position, to left tackle. They bring somebody else in, and they whooped ass. Yep. They whooped ass. Justin Herbert looked exactly like the Justin Herbert we have all dreamt about him being able to be, because there's finally fundamental things going on structurally in that organization to run things properly. Because to my Greek brethren, who owns the team, Dean Spanos, brother, stay out the way. Please let Jim Harbaugh continue to do this, because guess what? He's done it at every freaking level, at every program, at every NFL team. He just wins. Yep. That's it. And I thought that they were going to win the division, but man, I feel much better, because that's a neutral site, but it was a Chiefs home crowd. They were booing the Chargers nonstop because it was a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift concert, basically. Yep. Okay, you had a bunch of Swifties that were out there booing everybody, and I love the Brazil fans. It was awesome. But Justin Herbert was that was an away game for him. That was not a home environment. And he played his ass off. And Amar in Hampton, looking pretty damn good too. That's all I got to say. Shout out to my guy Keith.
Had him as RB1.
It's RB1, baby.
I'm going to go Chiefs Kingdom is in trouble.
Okay.
And we talked
about
this.
Which I agree with you too. It's just, I'm a Chargers girl. Like my adopted team.
It's just too many things, and this offense, in my opinion, has been sputtering for a while.
Yeah.
Last year, they got by the skin of their teeth, right? And I told you what I think with the Kansas City Chiefs, what phase they're in a phase where the New England Patriots were, where because you're facing them, you as a team start doing uncharacteristic things, and you lose more games than you actually win when you're facing them, right? Yeah. Those opponents that they're facing, they start to force things, and they make uncharacteristic mistakes. That's what the Kansas City Chiefs are. Yeah. But I think if kind of that cloak comes down, right, like things start unveiling themselves and people stop being afraid of them, then the losses are going to pile up. And I'm going to go as far as this. Listen, Kansas City Chiefs. He asked for it last year when they got bounced in the playoffs. Make it happen. Go get Tyreek Hill. There's a significant drop-off in the explosive plays when the Kansas City Chiefs had Tyreek Hill and when they traded him, right? Yeah. And Tyreek Hill, listen, because everybody going to say, well, Xavier Worthy is faster. I'm going to give you a little scouting advice.
Xavier Worthy doesn't have a shoulder because Travis Kelce killed him on the football field.
Thank you. You ran into his opponent.
He literally annihilated him.
He's 160 pounds. Tyreek Hill is not a big guy, but he's a sturdy guy, right? Yeah. He's explosive. He can handle
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, he can handle contact. Go back and get him. Are you trying to walk this thing off and get a couple more Super Bowls for Patrick Mahomes in Travis Kelce's off career, right? Or are you trying to have too much pride? Go ahead, trade the pick, whether it be second, third round pick, go get Tyreek Hill, and then let this offense be explosive again.
Because your window here, even though it feels open with Mahomes, look at Tom Brady and how he got a couple early, and then it was a decade.
It was 10 years, yeah.
It's really hard to have sustained success, and Travis Kelce has been a monumental part of the success. And he is, I believe this to be his last year.
Yeah, you can't do everything, and this is just the mind of a football player, right? What happens is you become distracted. When you start seeing success off the field and other things start happening, you're not fully committed anymore. This has to be the thing that you feel like feeds your family.
Yeah.
Your podcast, you probably make more money from that than you do your podcast.
And you're marrying the richest woman on the earth.
And I just seen something where their beer company, him and his brother's beer company, is valued at $200 million.
Jesus.
Right? So they're making
God bless
money.
you guys.
Yeah,
Good
and this is no problem.
No.
But you have to think, and like, you can't just rely just on Travis.
Yeah, you don't
right?
need to scrap
and,
anymore.
Yeah, Travis is trying to empty the tank,
Yeah.
but he can't be the only guy that you can rely on his offense.
And you saw it happen with Jason too at the end. It was right. He came back. He did the one more year. They play, and I believe Travis wanted, because individually Travis did not have a great year last year. I think he wanted to come back. You could tell he lost a little weight. He's definitely in shape.
He's trying.
He's trying. He's gonna give you everything he has left. Yeah. He's gonna empty the tank this year. I just think he's gonna empty the tank, and it ain't gonna be in the Super Bowl.
That's my point.
That's the problem.
Him emptying the tank, will it be enough to get
if you get
to
Tyreek Hill now?
It's a different picture.
Oh, I'm all gas, no brakes on your idea. Because I've seen Nick Wright, shout out to Nick Wright on First Things First. He calls it the light show. He's from Kansas City, okay? And he's like, the light show's back, the light show's back, all throughout preseason. Well, then Rashee Rice now has a 6-game suspension.
For 6 games.
Travis Kelce killed Xavier Worthy on the football field. He annihilated his shoulder. I've never seen that happen ever on a National Football League. It was wild. Also, how strong is Travis Kelce? Because good Lord, he had just killed Xavier Worthy.
I think it's thin Xavier Worthy.
It's thin, but also just like, my God, the just sheer force of being hit by a football player sucks. And I think you just look at it and you go, okay, well, what is the light show now? Because now you don't have Xavier Worthy for at least a few weeks, right? And you don't have Rashee Rice for 6. Can you afford to go through 6 weeks? You can't.
No, you can't.
Not when you're in the conference with the Baltimore Ravens and you have been just this much better than those teams. A smidge, a last-second play, a Mark Andrews drop, a 13-second comeback, a Harrison Butker kick. You're not annihilating these teams. You are barely beating these teams. So you need the light show. And respectfully to everybody else that's on that football team, Tyreek Hill is the damn light show.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mahomes has got a great arm, but he can't throw to himself. Just how it goes. So I'm all gas, no brakes, Tyreek Hill. It's going to require cap manipulation. It's going to require contracts being renegotiated. It's going to require draft picks. But guess what? The Dolphins need this shit to happen too.
Yep. Let's talk about that. You left on the Miami Dolphins.
I teed it up for you.
They lost. They flat out got their ass whipped, right?
Yeah, that's a belt to ass whooping.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the most unexpected blowouts because the Indianapolis Colts are trying to decide if Daniel Jones is their quarterback or is it Anthony Richardson.
Can I ask you something about this off the top?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you think Daniel Jones had that in him?
No.
Me neither.
I didn't think he had it in him at all, but I think the key part is that what people didn't realize, and that's why I assigned some blame to Anthony Richardson last year, the Indianapolis Colts, their skill positions
are good.
It's a top 10.
Yeah.
They've invested into them. They've drafted really good players.
Jonathan Taylor's a top 3 running back.
They have Josh Downs. They have Alec Pierce. They have Michael Pittman. They have some.
And they drafted Tyler Warren.
A.D. Mitchell, Tyler Warren.
No, they got a squad.
They have really good offensive pieces when you talk about skill position. So,
and a good offensive line.
Yep. So I'm surprised that he played that well, but I can see it happening, right, and unfolding. But let's get back to the Miami Dolphins, right? Because we said you got to trade away Tyreek Hill.
Okay, so let's live in that world.
Yeah.
Try to trade him away.
Trade him away. So then now you have the proposition of, do the Miami Dolphins just need to blow the whole thing up?
Yes.
Is this over? Is the Mike McDaniel, the Miami Dolphins, the Tua Tagovailoa thing, is it over?
Let me look right into the camera here and explain this to you. Being as I am a girl from Chicago, I believe in a couple of core things in football. That is playing hard defense, hitting the shit out of the quarterback, and running the damn ball. There is nothing but charm and soft in the Miami Dolphins. And that was displayed at the practice that you and I went to. Because after the fact, we were at the joint practice between the Miami Dolphins and the Chicago Bears at Hallis Hall in Chicago, okay? And I was on the defensive side with the first team offense of Miami. And McDaniel's, wild guy. Seeing him live, wild. My take of him not being a head coach is never been stronger. Never been stronger. But 2, the Bears defense under Dennis Allen is a violent defense. And after the fact, the players from the Miami Dolphins were bitching to the beat reporters about how they didn't realize that they were going to be hitting that hard.
We know he's going to
We didn't know we were going to hit that hard in practice. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you play football or what sport is this?
Right.
I'm confused. That is soft as Charmin. That is so far out the way. When I heard that, I said, this is over with. Yeah. And we came into the season with Mike McDaniel as the odds-on favorite to lose his job first. This was already on the rocks, especially when you consider they fired Brian Flores, okay? They fired Brian Flores, who is a tough motherfucker. Mm-hmm. There is no chance this team would look like this under Brian Flores. No. And you know who he wanted? Justin Herbert. Case closed.
Yep.
Justin Herbert with Brian Flores as the head coach, what does that team look like right now?
Oh, a totally different team, right? Totally different team,
It's
different.
Like insane to think about, though.
Yep.
That's an owner getting in the damn way. Hope you're having fun, Stephen Ross.
Listen, I agree with you. That Mike McDaniel situation, it was doomed from the start of it, right? And if you look, and I always criticized the process. Can we go all the way back to the beginning when they tried to tell us that Mike McDaniel was a minority hire? That's when I was out.
You
right?
can say that, I can't.
Yeah, you
but I was like,
yo. And I will say it. That was a ridiculous propaganda that they tried to
get
tell
a draft
us, right?
pick.
Yeah, and then so it started with there,
and to make the flow thing not as bad. Let's be honest.
And that's what the setup was. Then you think about Mike McDaniel being in a locker room trying to lead grown-ass men. You can't carry yourself like that, right? No. These men they have families, right? They have kids they have to feed. They have external families, sisters, brothers, uncles, aunties.
They're grown-ups.
They're grown-ass men.
And they play a gladiator
And you can't
sport.
carry yourself how you were saying he was carrying himself at camp or even looking on the field, because when we're right there and we're getting our ass kicked, right? We're down by 7 points, or we go up north to the Buffalo Bills in playoff games. I need a head coach that I know that's going to battle. Right? I need a head coach that everything he's telling me to leave it on the line, he's willing to do the same exact thing, right? Yep. I need a head coach that's willing to fight when I'm going to fight. I need a head coach that's going to tell me to get the hell up off the mat when it's time to get the hell up off the mat. You don't get that from Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, he's an offensive coordinator.
Great.
What would have been a great combination?
Great coordinator.
Let Brian Flores be the head coach. Mike McDaniel would have been offensive coordinator.
That's a dream scenario.
That's what it should have been.
No, that's a dream scenario. And when you think about great head coaches, right? I don't want people to feel like we're picking on Mike McDaniel because he's an analytics guy. He's not a good leader.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You got to lead men. And it's not about leading Tua. It's about leading the whole damn team. 53 men. All you got to do is go back to the Hard Knocks where they show him giving a speech, and then they pan to the defense, and the defense is all like, this motherfucker. Mm-hmm. That's how they're all looking. Because that shit doesn't work with defensive players. It doesn't work with offensive linemen.
No, it don't.
I don't even know if I would put him in the offensive coordinator position. I would put him as a passing game coordinator, a quarterback coach. He needed to be tailored because what he did was coddle Tua. Mm-hmm. And that cannot be what the head coach does.
You can't treat the whole team how you treat your quarterback.
No.
You have to treat your quarterback one way, and you have to treat the rest of the team a different way.
100%.
And that's the expectation, right?
Of course
Everybody who signs up knows that's going to be the expectation.
And if Tua can't handle that, then he's not built for this league.
Yep, 100%.
Period. End of story. And I think if Stephen Ross had not allowed him to get in the way, Tua played for Nick Saban. Nick Saban is not a soft coach.
Yeah, no.
So I'm telling you, he could have handled it. You just got in the way, man. And there probably could have been an unlocked version of Tua that was elite and excellent, but you can't coddle somebody like that. Yeah. You got to push him because Tua's got enough.
He got the talent. Yeah.
He got the talent, but he's in his own head. Mm-hmm. And you see it on the football field. And that stuff Mike McDaniel wore out his welcome really quick. Yeah. And look, media, I get it. Y'all, all the analytics community liked it because they thought in their minds, like, ooh, I could be a head coach too. This is a one and done, guys. Because guess what? Nick Saban wasn't a great football player, but he was a great coach. It's not about being a football guy. It's about being a great leader. Period, end of story. That's what it's about. Yep. And you cannot coach. You're not coaching a quarterback. You're coaching a whole damn roster. Yep. And that matters, Keith. It matters a lot. So this Miami situation, I want to ask you this.
Okay.
Because it's quarterback driven, right? Are we going to see Mike McDaniels lose his job first? Or are we going to see Zach Wilson start a game for the Miami Dolphins first?
Ooh. I'm going to go Mike McDaniels lose his job.
Okay.
And I'm going to also say this. I don't think he's going to get fired. I think
Wow.
until the end of the season. I think the owner is going to allow him to finish this thing out because the way that it's structured, I don't think they have too many other options on this team to be the head coach, right?
No.
And we went through it, and they have, I think, 5 different coordinators. And remember, we looked at it, it was like passing game coordinators.
No, I've never seen so many passing game, run game, backup run game, associate run game. I'm like, dude, how many people do you got helping you on the offensive side since you're a genius?
Yeah, yep. So that's what I think happens. I think he plays the season out.
Okay.
I think they probably finish towards the top of the draft, and then that's the key point to just blow the whole thing up and then try to move forward.
Okay, so the second part of that is then, do you have any faith in the Quinn Ewers, Zach Wilson to somewhat be a bridge situation, or if Tua is, because the cap hit, we talked about this with Jamie Eisner before we got on the show. The cap situation is not happening this year. Like the way they would have to do it, it would be next year, less dead money. So are you blowing it all up? Are you getting a bunch of draft picks and you're going to go get your guy this year? Or do you feel comfortable? Because what we just talked about before we got on the show is that this group of quarterbacks, we talked a lot about how we're excited coming in, and it's been a whole lot of so far with these college guys.
No, so I think I'm going to leave Tua in place for a year. And this is me. If I was the head coach, the new head coach that was hired, right, I'm leaving Tua in place for a year. And then I'm trying to go find me a guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not relying on Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers.
Okay.
I'm just not, to say it politely, I'm just not doing
Okay,
it. Right?
that's
the
cool.
most polite.
That was a nice way to say it. I got what you were putting down.
Yeah, that's the most polite way. Yeah, I'm having Tua for a year, and then now if I'm the head coach, I still get the opportunity to draft my guy, right?
Yeah.
And then that gets to be the guy that I have that I could get fired, or that's the guy that I hitch my wagon to at the end of the day. So
I think Tua's shown us enough, right?
Yeah.
That I can't help with the what ifs, but man, it's hard to sit there and watch what Brian Flores has done in Minnesota. And I've been around Flo a lot. I respect the shit out of him. He's a great coach. He's a great man. I've never heard a single bad thing from any player other than Tua. And sometimes when you hear it from one voice versus 15 voices, maybe it's Tua that has the problem. And maybe it's not Brian Flores. And by the way, that lawsuit is still happening with the NFL, okay? And he won the first part of his litigation.
Yep.
So just for those keeping notes, because I know the NFL likes to sweep that shit under the rug, Brian Flores is suing the NFL for being racist, and he did win the first part of it. Yep. So just saying.
Go get that money, B. Flo.
Go get that money, Flo.
All right, listen, we talked about negative head coaching situations. A coach is that's not that damn good, right? Let's talk about a coach that's really goddamn good, and that's Mike Tomlin.
Oh, I love this.
Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Let's talk about DK Metcalf.
It's the only thing that's saving me today.
My question is, are the Pittsburgh Steelers, from what you've seen in Week 1, true AFC contenders?
Yes, they are.
Yep.
They are, because Aaron Rodgers has not lost it. He threw for 4 touchdowns. He looked like Aaron. And let me be clear, as somebody who's watched him so much in my life, okay? Too much, to be honest. He sucks in the first week of the year. He's actually lost, I think it's the last 4 games. 2 in Green Bay and the first 2 with the Jets. And I don't even think it counted the 1 year he got hurt. I think it was last year and then 3 years with the Packers. Because I remember a game, I think it was 3 years ago, they went to Jacksonville and they got their asses kicked to a bad Jacksonville team. And people were freaking out, and Aaron said, relax to everybody. And guess what happened? They won the NFC North, and they were 13-3.
Yeah.
And this version of Aaron, this motivated FU version of Aaron, all I needed to hear was the post-game press conference to know, yeah, I'm all gas.
Yeah.
All gas on this. Because guess what? I get it. The Jets scored some points. But I trust Tomlin to do what Tomlin does, which is he will make adjustments. They've had Cam Hayward's been out. They've had a bunch of stuff going on. I expect them to get better on defense when the weather gets colder and everything in Pittsburgh, when they're running the ball. We know how that goes in that division. But if Aaron plays like this, they haven't had anybody play like this since vintage Ben Roethlisberger. Not old Ben, vintage Ben. And I just got one thing to say, Steeler fans. Do you want Mason Rudolph back?
Right.
Joke fest. How do you feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because I've as much as it's like the only thing saving me from being upset about the Micah Parsons thing is that Green Bay has to sit and watch Aaron Rodgers be great. That's super fun for me.
That's funny. As hell. No, so I'm going to jump in 2 different directions. The first direction, my statement with the Aaron Rodgers thing, Aaron Rodgers is good. I don't know if he's great, right? But he's better than what they've had. 100%. And that's really all that matters. They lose that game the past 5 years if the New York Jets score 30-something points, right? Because they just can't keep up. Now, Aaron Rodgers raises the bar to where, one, your defense doesn't have to be perfect, and then, two, your offense can score some points, right? And that's a big deal. The second point I want to make, you have to do team evaluations. This Pittsburgh Steelers is one of the best teams they've had. I've always said this. Last year, they had a wide receiver problem. I'm sorry. Yeah. Everybody likes George Pickens. George Pickens is not DK Metcalf.
No, he's
George
not.
Pickens is good. That's why they went and got him. They looked at this roster and said, we need to make key acquisitions. Mm-hmm. Another key acquisition. It was a trade that everybody kind of said, what the hell is going on? Jalen Ramsey. In the fourth quarter, he had a big-time blow-up hit for Garrett Wilson, right? That mattered. And when I looked at Jalen Ramsey leaving South Beach, Miami, to go to Pittsburgh, you know what that told me? He want to play football.
Yeah.
The other way around, when you leave Pittsburgh and go to Miami, you ought to go to South Beach.
You know what? That's been so under-discussed.
Yeah, because people just looked at it as, too, like Jalen Ramsey is old, he's done, and things like that. No, he can still be an enforcer.
And he was going to Pittsburgh.
That's
that
the
matters.
point. He wants to win a championship.
Yeah.
He wants to win another one.
Yeah.
And all of those key acquisitions that they had, it's paying forward now. It's starting to show, right? Like you've seen, okay, offensively they was able to make points, and then the guys that they acquired defensively are starting to make plays. Because you know guys like Alex Highsmith, T.J. Watt, Patrick Queen, those guys are going to make plays, right? Mm-hmm. Joey Porter Jr. I'm right with you. I think Mike Tomlin will get this defense together. They will start start looking like the vintage defense, and then this offense is going to stay steady because it's a better offense all the way around.
Yeah.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a true problem for teams in the AFC.
Aaron Rodgers matters, people. And after the game, he said, I wanted to mess with everybody in that building in New York. I wanted to prove to all the people that thought I couldn't play football anymore that I could still play football. I'm going to tell you something. When you piss off Aaron Rodgers, I've seen that version of Aaron.
Yep.
He needs that. You and I talked about that. You watched that documentary that I watched. He needs to have an FU reason.
Yep.
He needs to, and it needs to be for him.
He didn't have a chip on his shoulder anymore.
He's got a chip on his shoulder now.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take that Aaron all day, every day. And Tom Brady, the GOAT, just said the greatest thrower of the football of all time, Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Just so we're clear. Last thing on the Steelers thing, Mike Tomlin said that Chris Boswell, the kicker, is a serial killer. That's how he described him in the postgame. That's the greatest quote of all time. He said he lives for this shit at a press conference and said that his heartbeat slows down because he's ready for his moment. And I've never heard a head coach talk about a kicker like that. And I thought it was super funny, but it matters. Because the fact of the matter is there were, I think, 7 missed kicks today in crucial moments, including Younghoe Koo at the end to tie up the game. Mm-hmm. When you got that, Cleveland Browns would have won the game. Special teams matters, people. And when you got that stuff happening, and your head coach calls your kicker a serial killer, oh boy, yeah, I'm feeling good about the Steelers, and I'm laughing at all the Steelers Nation that wanted Mason Rudolph. Y'all deserve Mason Rudolph, the ones who wanted him. I think you should go root for a bad team.
Yep. 100%. Let's talk about this, man. We make a hard pivot.
A hard pivot, I like it.
Mr. Jet, our show producer, you might want to close your ears for this one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, because we have to get into these Detroit Lions.
We're really sorry to Jet behind the scenes.
I'm going to just pose the question, right? Should the Detroit Lions be concerned?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Jet, but the answer is an emphatic yes. Here's the problem. I have always had a tough time with the both sides won the trade conversation.
Okay.
And I'm going to take you back. If we, as a collective, believe that Sean McVay is an offensive genius, when he trades away a quarterback, that should be pretty damning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'm not taking away from what Jared Goff did the last couple years, but he had offensive genius 1 in Los Angeles and offensive genius 2 with Ben. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to see Jared Goff making his own decisions, making his own checks, doing his own shit, and you're going to see real Jared Goff. You're going to see Jeff Fisher Jared Goff.
Oh, shoot, please.
Oh, yeah.
Please, look at Jet. You hurting my guy, Jet Hart,
I'm just saying, y'all forget that time with Jared. I didn't forget, okay? I'm just telling you, they better get that shit right on offense because you can go for it on 4th down all you want, Dan, and I love you. Okay, and I love Aiden Hutchinson. I love that he's back. I love all the storyline about Detroit. But losing 2 coordinators and watching Aaron Glenn have that Jets team play the way they did, you think that shit didn't matter? Come on. It's very hard. Last year was your window. You brought everybody back and everybody got hurt. It was a bad set of circumstances. And last year, I believed Jared Goff would be the problem, and I haven't changed. Yeah. I've always felt that the one thing that was going to hold this team back from winning it all is Jared Goff. Because I've seen him have a 5-interception game out of nowhere every year, even under good leadership. And so that's where this is very concerning. This is very concerning because you lost both coordinators. You looked lost. Jared Goff looked very lost on offense. And they're going to have to figure something out because that division's probably the toughest division in football and ain't going to get easier.
Yeah.
And so I want to see Dan. What does Dan do? What does Dan do? What do they do going back to the drawing board? Because based off of what I know of Dan, he's a rah-rah guy. Mm-hmm. He's the leader.
Yeah.
He's not the offensive wizard.
No.
Okay?
No, he doesn't pretend to be.
And he doesn't pretend to be. So somebody in that building better be. Yeah. They better step up. And Jared Goff, you've been in the league long enough, dude. Put the onus on you. You wanted to show everybody that the LA turned their back on you. Now's the time, big dog. Because Matthew Stafford just became the 10th player in the history of the NFL to throw for 60,000 yards. I'm sorry, but Stafford is a different caliber of quarterback. He always has been. And it's always been tough for me that everybody said that both sides won the trade. Because the LA Rams have won a Super Bowl. And they still have Matthew Stafford, and he's still playing at a high level. Mm-hmm. So if they had Matthew Stafford with either of the teams the last 2 years, they are a Super Bowl contender.
Okay.
And that's the difference. Like, to me, Stafford can win you games. Jared Goff's not doing that. And I think you're going to see that play out now at a greater level than you ever have because he doesn't have Ben Johnson anymore. Yeah. I hope to be wrong for Jets' sake. Let me be clear.
Listen, my question was, should Detroit fans be nervous?
Yeah, the answer is yes. In case my soliloquy wasn't enough, the answer is yes.
And my answer is yes, too. My answer is yes because you simply haven't seen a good Jared Goff without a Ben Johnson, right?
Yep.
And after 1 week, you should be a little concerned because what people don't understand is play calling is an art, right? It's an art form that you have 40 seconds to get the right play, to get the right formation, get the right personnel in. You got to know down and distance.
It's crazy
all
how
of
much
that
has
in.
to happen.
Yes, it's a lot that has to go on. You have to know flows of the game, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have to protect your quarterback from a mental perspective that, like, hey, is this guy feeling aggressive? Is he in the hole? How is he feeling, right? Is he, like, you just have to know everything. Yeah. How's my offensive line playing? How is the matchup going? Just so many different things that go into it that I think losing an offensive coordinator, losing any coordinator, cannot be understated because that's one of the most difficult jobs that there is in football is being the coordinator for one side of the football.
For sure.
Then I look at Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff will play okay, but the question is, will okay be good enough to get them to a certain point? Did this go from being, hey, this team can get to the Super Bowl to now, hey, this is a wild card team, right? Yeah. Did you take just one step back? But that one step back matters, especially when you're talking about the NFC North and how the Green Bay Packers looked after week 1. Yeah. The Minnesota Vikings, right, and what they'll do. All of the addition that the Chicago Bears have had. So this is going to be probably the most competitive division. And I think after what the Lions look like week 1, then obviously we had the Vikings and the Bears that they have to, play their game.
Monday night,
They have to play it on Monday Night Football. That it's a toss-up on who's going to finish first and who's going to finish last. I think in the past few years, we you know what? The Lions are either going to finish first or second.
It's so hard. And I feel because Detroit has this soft spot for me. And I think all of media, because Detroit was just a poorly run franchise for a long time.
Yeah, everybody wants to root for the underdog.
Yeah,
and they've been underdog.
And they've been the underdog, but what happens when you're not the underdog anymore? You become the hunted, right? And that's where they put themselves by the sustained success that they had, right? And that's what happens when you get cherry-picked for coaching staffs. And that's all a part of this. This happens to the best franchises. When you get to a certain level, people start picking you apart. And are you fundamentally at your core still great? I think they can be, but I think their high-end upside now is a wild card team, not winning the division.
Okay.
And that's, to me, if Jared Goff has to go on the road, God forbid, to Lambeau Field in the middle of January, just kiss that one goodbye. Yeah. That shit ain't happening. I'm going to tell you that right now. It ain't going to happen. You better hope and pray it's in the Dome in Minnesota. Chicago, Philly, anywhere you got to go on the road in shitty weather. It's not for Jared Goff. I know he won one game last year, but come on.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%.
I hope to be wrong for Jet. As we said, we love our producer Jet behind the scenes. We hope we're wrong. We're rarely wrong.
And you know what we'll do also? I just thought about this. You know, Colin Cowherd does his where he was right and where he was wrong.
Yeah.
So and come back in 3-4 weeks and
we'll be accountable to the fans.
We'll say we're wrong, right? And we'll let Jet make a blooper for us.
Listen,
and say how
I'll bring Jet on the set. I'll let him talk his shit. Okay, I'll let him go viral as Lions fan 101. Okay, if we're wrong, I'm have no problems going through what we went wrong on. Yep. As I said, though, we're just very rarely wrong. So just saying. Based off of my knowledge of last year, we were very rarely wrong.
Yep. Paige Dimakos, this is what we're doing, and this is how we end our Draft Club episodes now.
Okay.
We have one final point.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I'm going to toss it to you first.
Yeah.
I want to know, after Sunday slate of games, what is your one final point that you have?
My one final point is I better not hear about the damn Avengers in San Francisco anymore because Brock Purdy's the Avenger. Okay? No George Kittle. George Kittle got hurt. Deebo Samuel was traded away. Brandon Ayuk is not on the football field. Christian McCaffrey is still recovering from an injury. He had Christian McCaffrey and nobody else. He's in Seattle, one of the toughest environments in all of football. 1 minute, 34 seconds left, drives down the football field, scores a game-winning touchdown to a guy that nobody freaking knows, Jake Tonges, his first catch ever. The backup tight end while George Kittle's on the sideline. At some point, I'm not going to tolerate the BS anymore. Because guess what? Quarterback is the most dependent position in all of professional sports. We told you guys, you got to have a good old line, you got to run the ball, and you got to have receivers. So you miss me with your, oh yeah, you need Avengers. What did Patrick Mahomes do? What did Patrick Mahomes do? Does he require Avengers? Yep. You're damn right he does. Because he looks a lot different without Tyreek Hill. Every quarterback on earth needs guys around him. Because football is a team sport. This is not basketball. We're playing football, and all 11 on the field matter all the time. And I'm going to tell you, I will not stand for the Brock Purdy bullshit any longer. My boy Brock deserves some respect. Brock, good for you, big dog.
There we go. Listen,
that's my final point.
I like that. Listen, you defended a quarterback.
I know where you're going.
I'm a defender quarterback.
Dak.
This is to all the Dak Prescott haters. It is time to grow the hell up, right? He proved on Monday Night Football that he is not the lone problem.
No.
And we have to grow up. And you know what? Elevate our football acumen at the end of the day. I go back to a point, right? I remember a couple years ago where CeeDee Lamb mother hopped on Twitter and said, Dak isn't it. We need to trade Dak. Well, how do we feel now? Your son dropped the football twice. Beautiful footballs. Three times, I'm sorry. By Dak Prescott, right? And that's why you don't point the finger. That's why you stay off of the Twitter machine, right? Because you never know. Like they say, every dog has its day. In a team, you're supposed to protect the team, right? You're not supposed to start pointing fingers. And Dak always handles things graciously. Because if he was another quarterback, he'd have told you exactly what was going on in the locker room. He wouldn't have took all of those live bullets. But because he's professional, that's how he handles himself. I want to ask this. What would the Cowboys be without a Dak Prescott, right? You're talking about one of the worst teams in the NFL, and you see it every time Dak Prescott is hurt. This team is bad, right? That's why Mike McCarthy was fired. My next point, we hold Dak Prescott. We have to make our mind up. What do we want out of quarterbacks, right? Do we want Super Bowls, playoff wins? Because I feel like for Dak Prescott, the field goal post is always moving. Yeah. Because when we cut the threshold for Dak Prescott is he'll never win a Super Bowl. Well, guess what? The last time I checked, Josh Allen don't have a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson don't have a Super Bowl. Justin Herbert don't have a Super Bowl. And we add more context to those players. I just want to start adding context to Dak Prescott.
Sure.
I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league. I'm not saying he doesn't mess up. All I'm saying is let's simply elevate our football acumen. Please stop hating on Dak Prescott. It's old now.
He's underperformed in some big moments.
Well,
to be fair to the conversation.
So has Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but they've also been to AFC title game. Like you can't.
He's getting
it's not 1-to-1.
Who team is better though?
For sure. Structurally, that's the conversation that needs to happen.
And that's my point. That let's have the conversation about how many rosters has Jerry Jones actually produced that are Super Bowl contending teams. I looked at him. The last one he produced was probably in 2014 or 2016. And I think the 2014 one was when Tony Romo was playing with the Dez Bryant catch in Green Bay. And then when Dak Prescott was a young pup, and I think he was on year 2 or year 3. But it's been a while, right?
Yeah, when they had Zach Martin, when they had all the big boys up front, and Ezekiel Elliott, and the problem is Jerry didn't know who the team was. And this gets every team in trouble. And this will be my final point.
Okay, go ahead. You got two. That's crazy. You got two final points.
I got two final points because you teed me up for another great one. Okay, I got two final points. Jerry didn't know, and this is a warning to all owners because this happened to Stephen Ross. Same thing, and it happens across sports. You forgot who you were, right? And that team with Dak Prescott was excellent. That team you're talking about back in 2016 that ran the football, that had great offensive line, and then he went and paid Amari Cooper $100 million. After he had paid Ezekiel Elliott $100 million. And then traded him.
Got mad with
Correct.
Cooper because it had nothing to do with football.
It was fundamentally, you can't just take a bunch of pieces and throw them together and say this is going to work. Yep. You had a system that was working, that was excellent for Dak Prescott, that you saw your quarterback be the best version of himself. It is your responsibility as an owner, Jerry. It is your responsibility as an owner, and it is your responsibility as a general manager to do whatever the hell you can to get the best out of the most important position on the field. And that's on you. You can't look at anybody else in the building. That is on you. That's it.
Yep. My last point is...
Final point from Keith.
Last time Dak Prescott was healthy for a full season, he came second in MVP board.
Just saying.
Mic drop right there.
Mic drop right
there. Paige Dimakos. That was the first time in a long time, but we wrapped up the episode. I'm Keith Sanchez. That's Paige Dimakos. This is Draft Club. Players only.